Hello, my name is Brian,
I'm Jesse Cole-Smith.
and today we're talking about The Mist. Released in 2007, directed by Frank Darabont, starring Thomas Jane and Marcia Gay Harden. So I was back. I remember when this came out, I was really excited for a movie of this type to come out because it seemed like at this point it was a very long time before you had a kind of like that throwback, kind of like sci-fi thriller,
Sci-fi,
like scary-ish flick,
horror,
yeah,
like definitely throwback style.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't one of those, like just in your face. Like I think we talked about this before, just slasher type.
Mm-hmm.
It just had a story to it. It had that old feeling to it. Like there wasn't like a lot of special effects.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's nice when you have even like the acting, like because a lot of times like in these types of movies you have like there's just a lot of theatrics with the acting, like a lot of overacting, and which I mean some movies call for that, but it was just nice to have a very subtle, like, okay, yeah, we're at a grocery store and there's something out in the mist, and
there's various characters, and they're not all starring characters. There's just a lot of different personalities in the grocery store.
I think it is a true thing where like there is like obviously there's the main character that kind of like guides you through the movie, but there is like a lot of everyone's a pretty important within the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's usually not the case with these types of films normally.
Yep. But yeah, The Mist, basically about just this odd, mist of, this weather thing coming through. It's almost like fog, I guess you could say, too, coming off. I think they're based in Maine, New England. It's a Stephen King.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of nobody knows what it is, but
and slowly we different thing. Well, it's really like the government, doing like the tests.
Yeah, they blame like these tests and stuff, but I don't even think they really even said like anything true that hey, it is a government thing.
Yeah, really, it's just kind of like you have the young folk that was in like the army.
Yeah, that's right. And they said they were doing some type of.
They didn't even know what they were doing.
They wouldn't know what they were doing. But something was.
They were just following orders.
Yeah.
And then I guess what makes it maybe tie along with that, it is the government's at the end of the movie when it's just basically,
all the
tanks and stuff, all that kind of stuff.
But yeah, so yeah, pretty much it's the movie of a small town, a group of people.
A small town in peril.
Yeah, right. And they don't know what's outside. They don't know what's in this mist, but there's something that is definitely not of normal sorts. And basically, that's the movie, and it's pretty much they're trapped in a grocery store.
And it's almost like they have to battle their own everyday life struggles within the big thing too, where they have their out of town people and people that just didn't like each other normally. They're neighborly at the beginning. They just didn't like each other.
Yeah. It's your typical small town
gossip stuff,
gossip crap, and they have their own little cliques and whatnot.
And you have like the big part where they kind of start thinking that it might be like religion, that type of thing.
They push the religion thing. I mean that was kind of Marcia Gay Harden's character, very pro religion,
almost just creating a cult within that time period.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that was a big thing in the as far as the
route of the film.
Yeah.
Right. It just pushed it in another kind of. I think they kind of used that too to kind of like speed things up and kind of like because there was a lot of like wondering, then that kind of like made you start like it just brought a lot of tension within the grocery store.
Right. The normal people didn't know who to follow. Somebody needed to be a leader, and you got Thomas Jane character. He seems like a normal good guy that's a go-getter type person, but then he starts talking about seeing these creatures out in the mist, and like, what are you talking about, creatures?
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with you? You're losing your mind, and and then you got the Marsha Gay Harden character is like, oh no, this is the power of God, and you can't go out there, you'll be struck down, and this is a sign of God, and blah blah blah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think I think what was awesome about the movie too is I think that one kid ends up getting caught up from the thing in the mist like pretty early on.
Oh,
I think that was before like the religion stuff really started happening, right?
Yeah, like the stock boy.
The stock boy. Yeah.
Like they were in the the stock room, and he got taken.
Yeah, I think kind of like when the movie kind of got real exciting too. It was when the guy that was also in Shawshank went out and they tied like the rope.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of when things started getting a little extra crazy, because that's when everyone started turning, and that's when like even like people who didn't believe the lady about religion, even when that happened, that's kind of like they all just decided to go on her way.
Yeah, because she was like, "I told you so" type.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And that scene was awesome when they just pull him back. It's like just half his body.
Yeah, it's just his torso is
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
It's just legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a real cool part. If we're gonna talk about our favorite parts, that's probably like one of my favorite parts in the movie, because it was like a subtle like tense, like you kind of just like you're quiet. It's quiet. They're drawing the rope, and then it's cool because it was like you said, it was like that was like the part where it starts getting a little bit after that.
A lot of crazy stuff started happening.
A lot of crazy stuff starts happening.
Yeah, because it was cool too when they try to block the windows from those crazy whatever the heck those
they're
things,
like
those flying things.
Pterodactyl looking guys.
Definitely, I think this movie probably has the best ending in films. It's way up there. If not the best, it's one of the best for endings. Especially if you don't know what the ending is, which if you're watching this, we're probably spoiling it. But
I don't even know if we want to spoil the ending. But it is, it's an ending that you don't expect.
Yeah.
It's a little, I don't know if you want to say hard to watch at a point in the ending where it's like, whoa.
I think it's something. If the mist, if this happened in real life, the ending is something that could actually happen in real life. You'd have to make these decisions.
Yeah.
And
it's a last minute decision of basically, all right, do you want these creatures to tear apart your family and friends, or you help them the quick way? It was this very surprising ending, and it's
definitely that's probably why I won't spoil it, because it's one of those movies where it's a privilege to watch an ending like that.
Right.
When you can walk away and just be like, dang,
right,
that was awesome.
No.
Like it's not just like it's not an ending where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay, cool.
Cool. No, it's an ending you'll never forget.
Yeah.
It's and if you read about it too, I guess, I don't know the story behind Stephen King's version, but I believe Frank Darabont came up with that ending for his movie, and Stephen King was so like ecstatic about it. He's like, why didn't I think of an ending like this? And
because I think this is actually, if I remember reading correctly too, I think this is one of Stephen King's favorite adaptations of his work.
Yeah, I read that too, and which is pretty crazy too, because
countless.
I mean, there's just so much that he's done, and especially with Frank Darabont, he's done Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile, also that were Stephen King.
And that's Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Frank Darabont has done some great work in his time for sure.
And he's a director that has a feel of his own movie. It's a Frank Darabont. The Mist is different than Green Mile and Shawshank. But if you watch Shawshank and Green Mile, it's like You know, it's very like it feels the same. It has that
I
same
think
look to it. It
what
has
The Mist might have that's kind of like The Mist that Frank Darabont did do is he did the first season of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that, like, I don't know when Walking Dead started, but I feel like it's been a while. And I know for sure it was after The Mist. And if you like The Walking Dead, it kind of has, like, a very similar kind of, like, look and feel. But it's a different type of thing because it's not zombies. But if you like The Walking Dead, I think you'd actually really like this.
It does
'cause it's kinda
still
the
it
same.
does have that look and feel of a Walking Dead type,
Yep.
you know, show.
Yep.
And it's it like you said, it has that old school feel. If you've seen like an older like Hitchcock movie or something where it's and going into that, you know, just the normal version, you know, is in color. And if you pick up the special edition like Blu-ray or DVD, you can watch it in black and white, which I recommend watching.
Yes. Yep.
And that's the way that Frank Darabont actually wanted it. But you know, studios aren't really all for putting black and white movies in theaters anymore.
Yeah, I think it's harder for the younger kids to appreciate it.
Right.
And even like I feel like, you know, back in the day when I was a teenager, I'd probably be like, ah.
Yeah.
But like now when I'm older, I love watching that kind of stuff.
And I think it's a lot better in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the special effects were bad or anything, but it makes the special effects seem more realistic.
I feel like the black and white, like you almost feel like you're there too in a weird way. I think black and white tends to do that. I think that's why, you know, black and white photos sometimes do that too, where like you kind of like it kind of sets like a time period or like I don't know really what it does, but it kind of gives you like that type of feeling.
It's an old throwback feel, you know, feeling to the movie. And it's almost like one of those movies that you'd see like on a late night, midnight showing type. Like it's not like a big blockbuster type movie, but it's something like maybe you'd see on TV late at night. Oh, it catches your eye and you end up watching it. You know, it's a good movie to watch. You know, Halloween.
Yep. Oh yeah. And even if you have seen it and seen it in color, definitely like you know he's saying, if you can check it out in black and white because it's a whole new experience. Even, you know, it's just like it feels like it's the same movie, but it feels totally different, like just from the color.
It's a new experience.
Yep,
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth checking out. You know,
yeah, don't think it's on the streaming. I didn't research it, but I haven't noticed it on there.
I haven't. No.
So it's definitely worth checking out, though. So, yep, Frank Darabont film. So, lurk it.
Check it out.
Take it easy.